如是我所闻。
Namo Amitabha Buddha. Hello everyone. So today I'd like to share with you another relatively well-known rebirth case. It's the rebirth case of Fajr Bikuni, which happened in 2004 in Guangdong province in China. So there are actually a lot of rebirth cases that happened in China every week. So every week you will hear someone who sought rebirth, but I'm only here to share ones that are relatively well known with a lot of eyewitnesses and also with video clips so we can see the strong proof of rebirth. So a few days ago I uploaded this video which shows that the eyewitness accounts of Amitabha Buddha's light that came to receive Fajr Bikuni after she sought rebirth, and someone commented whether it was just the light from the sun. But if we watch it really carefully, usually with the sunlight is just everywhere, but it doesn't have actually a bright beam that came directly down to the person who just sought rebirth. So if we watch the video carefully, we'll see that someone actually hold a plate of rattlix. So they just burned Fajr Bikuni's body, and then they found a lot of rattlix, a lot of colorful rattlix. So rattlix is kind of a representation of the spiritual purity of the person. By having rattlix, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person has obtained enlightenment, but at least she has some spiritual practice, she has some meditation. Real rattlix for advanced practitioners with deep meditation are actually really hard and it's unbreakable. So I'm not so sure about this one, but they do look beautiful with the colors. And from this case, you will know that Fajr Bikuni had definitely obtained rebirth to the Pure Land. So many people could actually seek rebirth at the time of death, so before their last breath. And there are some more advanced Neophyte practitioners, they could actually know much earlier before their rebirth when they will leave, like Master Hai Xian, like Master Hui Yuan, I've shared before. However, there are also few people who seek rebirth after death. So here when I talk about death, I mean after their last breath. It's possible for them during this period to seek rebirth, although it's rare. And even rarer for people to seek rebirth during the Bardo period. So the Bardo period is the intermediate state after the consciousness has left the body. So between this life and the next life. So it's relatively rare for people to seek rebirth in the Bardo period. But what happens in Fajr Bikuni's case is that she actually sought rebirth after her death. So in the Western medicine, we might say someone died because they stopped their breath or the heart stopped beating. But in Buddhism, it's not like that. So in Buddhism, we say that even after the person has stopped her breath, the heartbeat has stopped, we should not touch his or her body because it may create suffering for the person, because the consciousness, or you can understand it as the soul, is still there. So she will still feel it. And she will be annoyed if you touch her in this moment. So for the Buddhist way, we will not touch a person who just died. Usually we'll wait for a minimum of 8 to 12 hours or 24 hours is more safe. So only when the body has become completely cold, and that is when we know that the consciousness or the soul has left the body. And this is also for Neophyte practitioners. Even if we think they might have already sought rebirth to the Pure Land, we will still keep chanting Amituofo to him or her for the next 24 hours or even longer, even for the next 7 days, just in case that the person might not have sought rebirth immediately before death. This is what happened to Fajr Bikuni. So she did not seek rebirth at the time of death. So what happened to Fajr Bikuni was that her health had never been good since a young age. So realized the suffering and impermanence of life at an early age. She took monastic life when she was 25. And she encountered Nianfo Dharma and Pure Land Buddhism and decided to single-mindedly dedicate her practice in Pure Land Buddhism at the age of 29. And at the age of 33, which she had already practiced Nianfo for 4 years, one day she went to Hunan province to assist an elderly to Nianfo and seek rebirth to the Pure Land. And on her way back to Guangdong province, in the bus, she had a sudden heart attack. And after that, all the lay Buddhists, they assist her to Nianfo for 3 days and 3 nights. But her condition was not very good. And so they transported her back to the temple. So when she got back to the temple, her face, the areas around her eyes, her nose, her lips, they all turned green, perhaps due to the long time travel. So the abbot and all the bhikshunis from that little Pure Land temple, they all started to kneel for her and hope that she would gain rebirth to Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. Although she practiced Nianfo for the past 4 years, but maybe her faith was not deep enough in Amitabha Buddha, or maybe she had not sort of practiced enough in her life. So when impermanence happen to us, when accidents happen to us, which really could be any moment, that's why it's so important for us to practice Nianfo diligently. Yes, in the sutra it says, at the time of death, even for 10 recitations, we could seek rebirth to the Pure Land. But the problem is that how many of us can be confident to say that if any accidents happen to us, like an airplane crash, like an earthquake, like a sudden heart attack, when we experience this serious impermanence, how many of us can be confident that our first thoughts is actually Amitabha Buddha, and so are our last thoughts? Actually, the last thoughts are most important. So the last thoughts determine where we go at the time of death. And if our last thoughts are on Amitabha Buddha, then even 10 recitations, we can seek rebirth to the Pure Land. But for a lot of people, their last thoughts may not be on Amitabha Buddha, then they cannot seek rebirth at the time of death. So it's really important for us to practice constantly, diligently, to keep the constant mindfulness of Amitabha Buddha, to ensure that no matter what happens externally, our last thoughts are on Amitabha Buddha, to ensure us that we can definitely seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So all our daily practices are actually to prepare for this last thought when we exit this realm. In Fajr Bikuni's case, it was a really sudden heart attack, and she was very young. She was only 33. So we could not say for certain that I'll live for 80 years old. I'm still young. I don't need to practice Amitabha recitation. It just sounds too far away from us. But for real Nianfo practitioners, we should always be alert and aware and know that impermanence is the truth of this life, and it could happen in any moment. And even for long-term Nianfo practitioners like Fajr Bikuni, she maybe did not remember Amitabha Buddha at the time of death. That was why she did not gain rebirth immediately, but rather she was still suffer in her body. And then we see from the video, within those 3 days, her body was really hard, and her ears, her eyes, her mouth, her lips, they were all green. From this, we could tell that she did not gain rebirth to the Pure Land, because for any being who has sought rebirth to the Pure Land, their body will be totally soft, totally relaxed, because there was no fear. Why would a lot of people's body, when they died, it's very hard, because they have a lot of fear of the unknown. They have fear, and they have horror, they have sorrow, they have suffering. So in these cases, they have not sought rebirth to the Pure Land. And this was what we saw at the beginning. And then after 3 days, they transported her body back to the temple, and everybody in the temple started to recite Amitofo for her. So the purpose of reciting Amitofo is to remind her consciousness, remind her soul to remember to recite Amitabha Buddha, so she could seek rebirth to the Pure Land. And slowly we noticed the change of her body. So during the 7 days of chanting Amitofo, her body has changed totally. Her face turned red and her body became really soft. So it's likely that she had sought rebirth before the 7th day, but those people did not want to touch her body, so just in case she need even longer time to gain rebirth to the Pure Land. So, but after 7 days, it was definitely safe. So they checked her body and they realized that the body became really soft, the face became really calm. We really saw the turnaround of her body. We saw the drastic change in her body, in her facial expression, also in the softness of the body. There is still elasticity in the skin. Her knees are flexible and can be folded easily. She could be in seated position. There was still a bit of warmth left on the top of her head because the consciousness left from here is different from other people. Fajr Shifu, you have really sought rebirth to the Western Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss. We all of us are so happy for you and hope you gain the highest grade of highest rebirth to come back again and save all beings. And also when they touch the crown chakra, so for anyone who seek rebirth to the Pure Land, our consciousness, our soul live from the crown chakra. So this will be the last place that gets cold. For someone who gain rebirth to the heaven realm, the brow chakra, this is the last place that go cold. Because if you ascend to the heaven, the consciousness left from here. If you come back as a human, then you live from the heart. If it's the hungry ghost realm, and then it's the stomach. If it's the animal realm, then it's the knee. If you fall into the heart, you really feel like falling down, and it's from the bottom of the foot. So those would be the places that get cold the last. And by judging the temperature of these places, then we know which realm the person goes. So Fajr Bikuni had definitely sought rebirth to the Pure Land given all these signs. And not only that, someone while assisting Nianfo, they also smelled a beautiful smell, and someone else also received a dream from Fajr Bikuni and told her that I have sought rebirth to the Pure Land. Fajr Shifu sent a drink to Afang and told her that she had gained rebirth to the Western Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss. What do you want to say? So I've always been standing here and smelled a really incredibly pleasant smell. Shifu, congratulations. Your ears are very soft. May all of us transfer all of our total merits for Nianfo, sutra chanting, saving lives for animals, and all the good deeds to the rebirth of Bhikshuni Fajue to the Western Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss, and may she obtain the highest grade of highest rebirth. Amitofo. After they burn her body, they discover a lot of relics, a lot of colorful relics with white, green, blue. Also with the light we saw in the video in the end when they were picking up the relics of Fajr Bikuni. All these signs could tell that Fajr Bikuni have definitely sought rebirth to the Pure Land. So the Pure Land definitely exists, and Amitabha Buddha is definitely real. So may we all attain rebirth to the Land of Ultimate Bliss. Namo Amituofo Buddha.